So I'm sure in your long, illustrious career, there's been some mistakes along the way. What would you say are those mistakes that you really learned from?
I'd say a couple of mistakes. I think the first one is anger. As soon as you get into a CEO position, you begin to think you got a lot of power, which you probably do. But when you get angry, the impact that it has on 600 people actually undoes a lot of the good work that you put in. You know? So people are all excited to do. You talked about innovation. They want to innovate. And one bad day in the office where you are upset and it is visibly upset and you get angry in a meeting, it actually, the negativity of that is enormous. So you have a responsibility as a CEO and you have a duty as a CEO. And it's just like if you are a father in a family, if you get upset, then there is, it actually undoes a lot of things. So I try my best. Under the most severe pressure, I am the calmest individual. When there is a problem, the first thing people must want to do is to come to you. If you can create that ambience where they come to you and say, boss, something's gone horribly wrong. And you say, just sit there, we'll find a solution together. Then I think you will win in most situations. So I think I have been guilty of being angry at times and I'm still trying to get better. The other mistake, which I've only realized a few months back, is that I have sometimes been very competitive. And we say it is a game of alignment. The company needs to win, and yet individuals want to win. You know, that's ironical, that a company needs to win. We are all part of the same company, and yet we are each of us wanting to win. Right? And so I have also competed. Now I realize that actually my greatest strength is collaboration. It doesn't matter who wins. No? If you are, say, a chief risk officer and I'm the chief finance officer, and if you think that stopping me from what I'm doing is your victory, then that was the way I was a few years back, because I wanted to be the best chief risk officer and I wanted to win. But if I am the best chief risk officer, I'll make the company win. So I think if you can change competition to collaboration, and a win doesn't need to result in a loss. A win must result in a win the other side too. Then that car thing comes back into play, that it's going to be a long-term success story. Right? And I think if you apply that even in your personal life, you will find that it will make a huge change. In your behaviors with people, you don't need to win anything. You actually win when both sides, both parties actually win. And you make that transition. Nobody ever told me about this one. But over the years, I've learned that actually collaboration is best. If there are two outstanding individuals, you've got to be very careful that you actually find a win-win, such that the company wins. What's the point? You may have the two best forwards in your soccer team and they don't pass to one another and dribble the best, but they didn't score the goal. So what's the point, right?
Right. So this is an interesting dynamic. The bigger the company that you're a part of, you get these ambitious people and they're not always playing for the team. So how do you, as a leader, the person everybody's looking to, how do you align those people so they can win individually, but ultimately the organization wins?
I generally go to a lot of the guys who have the power to stop something. And I tell them that to stop something is the easiest challenge in their careers, because they have the power. So if I'm an actuary, the marketing team comes to me and says, I want to do this product. I say, I'm not doing it. Okay. I'm an underwriter. You come to me and say, I've got a tinge of diabetes or high blood pressure. I say, I reject your application. The lawyer looks at a contract and says, oh, there's slight problem there, reject. I tell them that's the easiest part of your careers now. Anybody can do that. If you are a good underwriter, you are a good lawyer, you are a good risk manager, you will actually find the solution. So I tell the actuaries, if you don't find the solution, the marketing team is not good enough to find the solution. But you rejected them, you find the solution, your job will become that much more satisfying. So when they begin to think that they are capable, and they are the only ones capable, the ones who are capable of rejecting a decision, are the only ones capable of making it happen, then the whole team begins to think of Aviva is all that matters. It doesn't matter whether I want it or not. Yeah. But it takes a lot of effort because all of us have our own egos in there.
Yeah, I like what you said. So there's this aspect of being proactive. So saying, how can we do this? How can we say yes to this versus how can we just say no and shut that down? So to me, that seems to come back to the personal qualities of the individual. So for a CEO, for those people in those roles, what are those personal qualities that really make a team player?
Team players, you'll always, to me, I look at people, their body language first. I just recruited a lady as Chief Risk Officer, and I worked with her 20 years back. I met her for coffee. The second time I met her, she looked at me and said, it'd be nice to work for Aviva, but I first want to know, why do you want me to work for Aviva? And I said, that smile of yours. And she looked at me and said, you must be joking. This is a serious question. I said, that's a serious answer. That you have worked 20 years with the regulators. Do I doubt your competency? I don't. If you want me to test it, I will test it. I'm happy to do that. If you have the right attitude, I can teach you. If you have some flaws in your capabilities, in your competencies, I can teach you. If you have the wrong attitude and you come in and the team that I have built, if you come and don't add to the team and make that team as a team stronger, I'm wasting my time. But I think you will be a wonderful team player. And she's come in and she has a lot of areas where she doesn't agree with others. There's a lot of debate in the company. But as soon as that debate is over, they all go out together for lunch. And I can see that teamwork. So teamwork, generally team players you can see. And not everyone will be a perfect team player. And they don't need to be perfect team players. But they need to continue to improve towards becoming better team players.
So you spoke about some of the qualities of a team player. So I want to look now at the qualities that you as a human bring to your role as CEO. What would you say are those most important qualities that allow you to operate at the level that you do?
I'd say I'm in a minority. And I think I've been very blessed and probably very lucky to be as successful as I've been. I've always felt that I've reaped the benefits of a lot of hard work. But at the end of the day, I feel the greatest joy is to give. I don't think good leaders take. Good leaders always think of giving back to their people, giving back to their consumers, to their customers. And I think my life hasn't changed. I'm the only CEO in Singapore who travels to office by bus. And I've been asked this question many a times, why do you do that? And I ask myself, why shouldn't I do that? I go out in the afternoons for coffee to a small coffee shop, which no other CEOs would go to. I go to the food court. But to me, I haven't changed. Why should I force myself to change? And I think people say I'm very humble. And I say that's part of the job. You have been made a CEO by the people effectively, right? And if you're not going to be with the people when they need you the most, then I think... So I just felt I never think of myself as higher than anybody else. Yes, I do see my responsibilities as showing the direction, which you could say comes from a position of a higher position, yes. But other than that, I think I have not changed at all in my life. I am very comfortable. I've never had to be the Nishit that Nishit wasn't. Yeah. The simplicity in my life hasn't gone away with all these job titles. And there are days when I have to behave slightly differently, but as long as they are once in a blue moon, then that's fine. I've got wonderful relationships with people. My best friends are the ones who work for my competitors. And there is a sense of sincerity, there's a sense of honesty, there's a sense of simplicity. And I think I've done it my way. I think some people, others would do it their way. I don't like to be high profile at not. I always shun all the high profile meetings. I'm hardly in the press. Sometimes when I need to do it for the sake of the company, then I will do it. But I think probably the best thing is that I will have no regrets when I finish.